Startup. Now that the system is installed and set, you will need to go through the startup process. You now will need to fill and flush your new softener. With a bypass valve in the bypass position, again with the arrows pointing to each other, press and hold the regeneration button until you hear the motor in the valve begin to turn. Once the motor stops turning, the display will show backwash and will begin to count down. Press the regen button again and the motor will move again. When the motor stops, you will see brine draw and the time will start to count down. Press the regen button and the motor will start again. When the motor stops, the display will show the number 2, then backwash, and begin to count down. Press the regen button again and the motor will start. The rinse mode will illuminate. In the rinse mode, we will start to fill the softener with water. We will do this by slowly opening the inlet valve on the bypass. We will just need to crack the inlet valve and open it slowly to fill the tank. You will watch the drain and determine that the air is out of the tank and that the water is running clear. You will slowly open the valve until it's completely open and the drain is running clear with no air. You can slowly open the valve over the entire rinse cycle. Once the drain is running clear, you can open the outlet valve on the bypass. When the time on the rinse cycle goes down to 0, the valve will automatically move to the next cycle, which will be the brine fill. Let the valve run its course and do not hit any buttons. In the brine fill mode, the unit will fill the brine tank with water, so there will be a concentrated salt solution for the unit's first regeneration. When the brine fill cycle is complete, the valve will move back to the time of day and your unit is online and ready for operation. Your unit will regenerate automatically going forward and shouldn't need attention unless there is a power outage. If the drain didn't run completely clear, you can open a spigot or a bathtub faucet for additional rinsing. If you see pieces of media coming from the drain on the initial rinse, stop the process because there may be an internal problem. If this is the case, call one of our customer service representatives for further instructions. Now I would like to explain some of the features of your new softener. When the water in your home is running, the softener icon will blink, indicating that the unit is counting the gallons of water going through it. This feature can be used to determine if there is a leak in your home, such as a toilet valve that is seeping. The time of day will change periodically to a gallons capacity screen, and then return to the time of day. The gallons capacity screen is indicating how many gallons you have left before the next regeneration. To manually regenerate your softener, you can press the regen button and release. This will trigger the unit to regenerate that night at 2 a.m. or whatever time you selected earlier. If you press and hold the regen button, the unit will regenerate immediately. If you do an immediate regeneration, you shouldn't use water during this time period. If you remove the front cover on the unit, there's a programming sheet in the front cover you can use if you don't have the manual readily available. With the cover removed, you can also see the battery backup in the upper left corner of the circuit board. If you need to change this battery, unplug the unit first. Once the battery is changed and the system is plugged back in, check your settings and correct them if necessary. Your system will collect usage data every day that it is in service. The data will be analyzed internally and your regenerations will be optimized for maximum efficiency. Your unit will know your daily average usage and will regenerate the night before if the number of gallons remaining is lower than the next day's usage value. It gets smarter as time goes on and becomes more efficient in the process. One last thing to know is that when you run your system out of salt, and believe me, it can happen, I'm guilty of this myself and I'm supposed to know better. You will fill the brine tank with salt and then manually regenerate your unit 2 days in a row to ensure that it is flushed and totally regenerated for future use. You can do this by pressing the regen button and releasing it so the unit will regenerate at 2 a.m. that night. And then the next day, press and release the button again so it will regenerate the second night at 2 a.m. This will generally get your unit back to ground zero and will be ready to work automatically again. This concludes this series of videos for the U.S. Water System Prelude and Fusion Water Softener installation and setup. If you have any other questions or concerns, please call one of our customer service representatives at 1-800-608-USWA. The only thing left to do now is to enjoy your soft water.